Good morning, Hockenheim, and welcome to Saturday morning here at FSG. We have lined up for you here today the track drive of the driverless cars. This is the event where we will see the autocross track from the driverless discipline yesterday, slightly modified, if I remember correctly, to be able to drive it for more laps than just one, like what we saw yesterday. Casting our eyes over into the dynamic era, we already see a couple of cars at least in there. It is a bit hard to tell if they will join us here soon on track as well. Nevertheless, we do have some things to say about the proceedings yesterday. I think we were overall quite impressed with the performance at the driverless autocross. So we do hope to see just the same here today. I was informed that there are this year for the first time actual corner names for some of these driverless corners as well. We of course already had this present for the autocross and endurance of the manual cars. Pretty much all the corners there have very distinctive names. I personally haven't had the time to take a look at the names for this year, but I think there is a map somewhere and we'll keep you informed as the cars go.
And we have our first contestant joining us at the starting line for the autonomous track drive, car number 22 from Leuven. And we will be hoping that the contestant from Leuven will be able to complete the 10 laps that are required for the autonomous track drive event. After completing 10 laps, the car needs to come to a stop on its own within 30 meters of the finish line. And that's about it. Sounds simpler than it is. The final checks have been completed and the team members and the officials are retreating over to the small control area in the infield of the track. Unlike the autonomous autocross yesterday, every team will only have one attempt at completing the track drive discipline. So fingers crossed for the team from Leuven. First ones on the track. A lot of wheel spin from the front wheels, but the car does set off successfully. A tentative start, but finding its way nicely through the corner, which we'll name later. Going around the hairpin in front of the grandstands, the track is changed a little bit from the autocross track yesterday. Sharp left turn, going through the complicated section on the back half of the track there, and onto the back straight. Going around the final corner and completing lap 1 out of 10.
Yes, and just to manage some expectations, what we will see today, these cars have sort of a learning ability, don't they, Yegor? First couple of laps, usually they take it slow, and some teams opt to do the same speed during the whole track drive, just to keep it safe and securing all the points, right? But some teams actually choose to let the car drive a bit faster and faster as soon as it learns the track. Go a little bit more speed, but that comes also with a little bit more risk, right? Of an off-course and cones, and that something is going wrong. So it should be interesting to see what kind of strategy these teams adopt today.
Yes, very much so, Mickey. And it seems that the car from Leuven, having just completed lap 2 out of 10, is going for the more cautious approach that you mentioned. Just making sure that all of the event is completed successfully. They did clip one cone on the left-hand side there, but no trouble for the car so far. Coming for the third time now onto the back straight. Staying nicely within the lines. And completing lap 3 out of 10. Slowing down a little bit there, but now going back to its previous pace. And it does seem, Mickey, that the car is actually slowing down a little bit in the complicated corners just to make sure it stays within the lines.
Well, which is actually quite a sound and robust strategy, because it has completed another lap much to the joy of the team members in the middle of the track, watching anxiously and counting down towards the end, obviously.
Yes, 4 down, 6 to go. Not showing any signs of trouble. Very impressive run so far for the team from Leuven.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the lap times so far. Actually, it's pretty consistent. The car started out with a 52.9, then it had a 51.4, a 51.1, and now it did a 50.6. So ever so slowly increasing in speed, but it's very, very minimal. But it looks very safe, so let's hope they continue for the rest of the track dive like this.
Yeah, wondering if the team has maybe set up a maximum speed that they're comfortable with the car going, but even under that speed limit, the algorithm is still finding ways to optimize the line it's driving through the track. Optimizing a little bit too hard there and clipping another cone at the start of lap 5, but still continuing on very well.
Yeah, indeed, another fastest lap, 50.3. So I think this is the halfway mark by now. So 5 out of 10 laps. Steady as she goes, looking very solid indeed.
Lap number 6 completed, and you can hear the audience is absolutely loving it. Slight bit of hesitation there at the hairpin in front of the grandstand, but no troubles.
Yeah, and to be fair, the organizers did make it a little bit more tricky, and it's actually not the same track as it was yesterday during the autocross. So there are some tricky corners that you mentioned earlier, which can confuse the car a little bit, especially because in the far section of this paddock area, there are some more cones. So actually, you need to make sure that the car isn't distracted by all those other colors and other cones, just within range of the visual systems. So, but so far, let's see another fastest lap time. So, ever so slightly, another tenth shaven off the time. It's 50.2. Yeah, very impressive, very solid so far.
Yes, indeed, very steady improvements. This is what teams, of course, will be hoping to see tomorrow at the, or not even tomorrow, later today at the manual autocross and tomorrow at the endurance run. But somehow I doubt that the human drivers will be as consistent. One more lap completed. Is that 2 laps to go, Mickey?
Yeah, it looks like, I think this was the 8th lap completed, so coming up to the 9th, and yeah, after that, it's only a short way home. Yeah, just routinely passing through the tricky corner of the track, coming up to the, well, one of the final tricky turns as well. Right hand there, also downhill a little bit, just going over the line. I think going into the final lap, if I'm not mistaken, and indeed the quickest time, 50.001, very good. It's so relaxing sound. There's no big drama, no big issues so far.
But I think we are about to hear some big sounds from the audience.
Yeah. go, but it needs to stop. And it's
And
solid
it
blue.
does.
Well done. Congratulations to the team from Belgium. Well done. Excellent job. Well, what a start of the track drive today, Yegor.
Indeed, and again, an exemplary performance from Leuven, and let's hope that everybody else who will follow can replicate it and successfully finish their endurance track drive as well.
Yeah, the team is obviously ecstatic, and rightfully so, because it was a perfect example of how you should do a track drive, right? Just get in there, complete the laps, get the points.
Yeah, maybe even optimize a little bit along the way, but indeed, no drama. Only, I think, 2 cones hit during the entire 10 laps. Much better than you would expect from many manual endurances.
Yeah, and if you look at the lap times as well, the final lap was indeed the fastest. Again, just shaving off less than a tenth from the previous. So they started out with a 52.8 and they finished with a 49.9. So they managed to improve the lap time all the way, which is actually pretty good.
And as the Leuven car is leaving the track, one of their compatriots from the Benelux is joining us, car number 40 from Eindhoven.
It sounds like the Eindhoven car is ready to take off, literally maybe. I don't know whether there's a rotor in beneath it, but it's probably some cooling just initiating. Yeah, the track is clear. It's beautiful weather, so ideal circumstances for track drive today. Already we have well, very decent time, very good time from the Leuven car. So the bar has been set. Let's see whether Eindhoven can manage to do something about that. Obviously, the first couple of laps are the most exciting ones or anxious ones for the teams, because after the car does a couple of laps and it's steady, then well, there's a good probability it will go on. But especially the first couple of laps is always nail biting, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Mickey. And what we also see sometimes happening is a car does find its way around very nicely, but just clips a cone onto the track, and that confuses it the next time around.
Yeah, but we saw yesterday that you know, these cars have a very good ability to find the track again, or at least doing their utmost best to find the track and go back to it. So, well, first lap completed for Eindhoven. So yeah, that looks steady. I didn't see any cones either, so yeah.
Maybe we could call it a Findhoven, the way it's finding its way through through the cones.
Yeah, and already 49.0. That's impressive. Already beating the fastest time from Leuven, so we have a competition on our hands in the Benelux.
Getting a little bit twitchy here on the back straight, a little bit on and off with the throttle, but finding its pace, settling in once again. Two laps down, 8 to go.
Yeah, and it's a big improvement as well. 1 second faster than the previous lap, which was not bad already. So second lap was already a 48 point, well, let's say 1. Very good.
But as you see that, Mickey, the car does collect a couple of cones there in the tough corner at the back. It does rearrange the track somewhat for itself. Hopefully that will not cause any trouble for it on the next go-around.
No, we can see the rearranged track, and one of the blue cones actually made it towards the right side of the track, in between the yellow cones. So that turn might be a little bit of a tricky situation, because there's one blue cone where it shouldn't be. So I'm curious how the car will handle this one.
Yeah, more than one. I think there's also a couple blue cones deposited right in the middle of the road. Let's see, as the car approaches that section of the track, how it does. And unfortunately, it did prove a bit too much of a challenge. Eindhoven having to stop off the track, and that is a DNF for car number 40 from Eindhoven. But nonetheless, a very good achievement by the team. You could see that the car was doing very, very well. Maybe it sped up just a little bit too much, but some very well-deserved applause and cheers from the audience. Well done, Eindhoven.
Yeah, and the lap time was already quite quick with a 48.1. So yeah, that's well, another bar set, I guess.
No, indeed, an unfortunate Eindhoven, but let's see who our next contestant is. Mickey, can you make out the number? That is car number 284, all the way from Canada, University of Toronto. So final checks done for the competitor from Toronto. Officials and team members stepping away from the vehicle.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what will happen here. I saw them on the driverless kit pad as well, doing a few attempts in spectacular fashion. Let's hope for them they can complete some laps.
Yeah, I think we're just waiting for the car from Eindhoven to be retrieved successfully, to be removed from the track so that the competitor from Toronto can start their attempt.
Yeah, they were, the Eindhoven car stopped at exactly the opposite side of where they had to exit, so this is taking just a bit longer than usual. But that's all right. We have some time, but also plenty of cars. I think I can at least see 8 cars in the queue. So will definitely be a filled and action-packed morning.
Now, indeed, we are half an hour down, 3 hours to go for the autonomous track drive. Plenty of cars in the queue, but first, car number 284 from Toronto.
Yeah, and we can see the cars from, let's say, Milano, Porto, in the Göttingen, Munich. Yeah, some really good competitors as well in the queue forming up. So
Toronto,
it should be an interesting drive.
Toronto has started. So far, so good. They are choosing for a slow and steady pace around the track. So then we are, of course, curious to see if they will be able to speed up afterwards or not. But yeah, super clean run so far. I'm heading to one of the tighter sections, also with a big bump in there actually, but navigating it well so far. Heading towards, oh no, the car came to a halt. Hear some funky noises. I'm not sure what happened, but the car has had enough. But a nice round of applause from the audience.
Yes, unfortunately, that was a DNF for car number 284. It's a little strange spot where it came to a stop because it was still on the track, still well within the lines.
Yeah, and as we were wondering yesterday as well, it is at this point where it's hard to judge why it went wrong or what the car, what was he thinking?
It doesn't let go, does it, Matthias? Yesterday we were curious why these cars why are these cars stopping on track, and we would like to know what's happening inside and give us some more information, help. We don't know. We will just have to accept that, Matthias.
Well, I find it hard to accept, so I might actually just go there and ask to maybe get a bit of an explanation what could potentially be the cause.
Ja, bin schon dabei.
And now we see car number 320 from the University of Porto take the starting line.
Yeah, and our colleague Matthias cannot contain his curiosity. He's going to try to meet the guys and girls from Toronto to ask them a couple of questions. Maybe they have some idea, some information for us as to why the car stopped in the middle of the track in the first lap. Actually, I am curious as well because, of course, we're all engineers at heart, so we would like to know what the root cause is of any failure. But we will find out soon enough. As soon as Matthias has the information, he will come back to us for sure.
Okay. Ja. Okay. Dann schalte ich die andere auch wieder auf. Okay.
And all the final safety checks have been completed on car number 320. Of course, safety is of paramount importance. Let's see how they can do. The car does set off, also on a very tentative pace and veering straight to the right, leaving the track fully. Let's see if it can maybe find its way back. It seems that the car has found its own new line. It was going in the opposite direction. And unfortunately, the team does have to come to a stop. That is a DNF for car number 320 from Porto. But still, of course, a very well-deserved round of applause from the audience. So what do you think might have happened there, Mickey?
Well, I think the car just went off track and then decided, oh, I can't find my way back to the track. I'm going to do a stop and not continue because I want to preserve myself and not destroy and come into a situation that I don't know where I am. So something like that, because it was quite off track.
I'm not sure whether it was the car deciding to come to a stop or if the team members did it, because the cars had sort of started following the yellow cones on the back straight as if it thought those were the actual outline of the track.
That might also be the case. I can't tell from here, but that might also be a logical explanation of what happened. Yeah, well, maybe Matthias You have an update on our why Toronto stopped on track?
Yes, a little bit. So I had a quick chat with the guys from Toronto. Also, they were not sure yet what exactly happened. I did try to get some information, what could the potential causes be, but they said it could be many things. Maybe an unexpected value in some of the many sensors that they use for driverless. Some problem in the software. Yeah, could be many causes. They also did not know what yet, and they will now, of course, try to debug it. But they were actually, quite happy and proud that their car made it through for a few corners, and they said, "See you guys in Michigan."
Is that an invitation for us to come over there and do some commentating, Matthias?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Not sure if they can decide, but might be a cool challenge.
As we now have the car from HAWK Göttingen lining up on the track, number 161. Ready to drive sound heard from car number 161. Yeah, the officials are looking at the timer for starting, but of course the competitor from Porto is still not too far from the track, not fully clear. So hopefully some adjustment in the start time will be made for that. But the car does seem a little bit too hesitant so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they already have been given the go signal. I think only now, and then immediately gets going. Quick on the launch, but then just over the line, starting to look for the track. Also in this corner, struggling a little bit to find where it is, but it manages well. So in order to finish.
Well, I think you said that word a little bit too soon. Monty. Maybe the car heard
commentator
you.
curse. Fueled by Spetsy, it says on the rear wing. But unfortunately for them, the car came to a halt after successfully navigating 2.5 corners.
It's unfortunately a bit of a awkward situation with car number 161. Now car number 131 UAS Munich coming up to the starting line.
Yeah, with a really nice delivery from UAS Munich. Is that a bit of a BMW reference they're coloring? I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, the color scheme does seem to indicate that. Yeah, so personally, I'm a fan of the M version of the BMW. So I'm a fan already.
I think it is one of the more unique liveries out there.
we started off the day very well with the car from Leuven completing all its laps pretty quickly even. Then we had a few cars not quite completing it. Let's see how UAS Munich goes along the track. Oof, misses the first corner, takes a few cones.
Takes a bit of a shortcut there.
Yeah, right, and then it's looking for the track again. It yeah, has some chances of finding it back. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's going in the general direction, and it's on the track now.
That's actually quite impressive, going all over the place.
Yeah, I think taking another shortcut there,
Oh, yeah.
and unfortunately, as it was heading for the tire wall, it seems the team members did decide to take emergency action.
Yeah, it would have been funny if it were to continue here, because then it might have had one of the best lap times, because it was cutting more than half of the track. But no, unfortunately, seems like many things went wrong in that run. Car didn't quite see where the track was, cut a few parts, and now it was heading to the wall, so better to stop it.
Now we have one of our Swiss competitors, car number 127 from Lausanne. Matti, I seem to remember you really like the shape of their rear wing.
Indeed, when they first appeared here, when was it, Thursday, very impressed by the shape of the rear wing. They clearly did a lot of optimizations on that one. From a distance, it just looks like a cool curve. We call it the Pringles wing. But if you come even closer, there's a lot more detail to it. Yeah, and I really have put in a lot of thought in how to guide the air in order to produce some downforce. Let's see if it also helps them first complete the track drive and potentially do it even quicker than what Leuven did. But first things first. And if they can survive some of the first corners and the first lap, then they can see if they can speed things up a bit. This is already now, what is it, the 5th or 6th car that we had, or even more?
Yeah, this is, let me check. I think this is the 7th car even. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we have 5 DNFs. And still only Leuven that actually completed the track drive this morning successfully. Let's not forget these cars, these teams have not set a time in the driverless autocross yesterday. So if any of these teams complete the track drive, it's an absolute miracle because they had absolutely no reference from yesterday. So that makes the performance of the Leuven car actually quite outstanding.
Yeah, I think well, the officials, like we mentioned earlier, they did change the layout of the track from yesterday just to make sure that whatever reference is gathered is not too instrumental. Make sure that the car is indeed finding its way on its own.
Yeah, and as Mickey said, so these are the cars that have not set a time yet. And then at some point we will get the car with the slowest autocross lap time, and then we will go to quicker and quicker and quicker and wrap up the track drive with the quickest car we've seen yesterday, which I think is the Karlsruhe car. So hopefully things will get more and more and more exciting as we proceed through the morning. It is taking a little bit of time for the Lausanne car to get ready. I feel like we've seen quicker preparations. I'm not sure how much time they do get now to get the car started. Of course, once they have given the go signal, then there's a defined 1 or 2 minutes, but here I think they're a bit more lenient. I see at least one team member walking to the safety zone. So
yeah, we're just hearing on the radio now from the officials that this is a did not start for the team from Lausanne. I'm not sure whether that counts as... I'm not sure whether that counts as their attempt at the autonomous track drive. Hopefully not, and we will be able to see them back to attempt it again.
Yeah, so I think if there is time at the end for some out of order runners, maybe they will get another shot. I wouldn't be too surprised if there's some kind of penalty involved with showing up, but let's hope for them that they will get another shot.
Yeah, meanwhile, I think I see car number 51 from the University of Ghent making their way over to the start. Let's see if they can replicate the performance of their Belgian compatriots.
Yeah, it would be cool if they can also wrap it up, because then we have an all-Belgian podium right now. Only the Belgians can navigate through track drive, so fingers crossed.
I'm sure the Belgian cause is very close to your heart, Matti, but of course we hope that all cars can complete the track drive successfully.
Indeed, and Ghent and Leuven are two of the largest universities we have in Belgium. There's definitely some rivalry between all the students of Ghent and Leuven of, you know, who is the best university in Belgium. So let's see if they can also indeed replicate the performance of Leuven. I really hope they can also put in some decent lap times as well. That's of course what we like to see, some speed.
Yes, and as far as I can tell from the timing sheets of yesterday, they did 2 attempts on the autocross yesterday, but both times it's a DNF for Ghent. So, but they were here and they tried.
Yeah, and actually they did very well until the last meter of the autocross where they stopped. So that was really heartbreaking. Something in their software already preemptively stopped with the autocross.
So that was heartbreaking and heartbreaking.
Indeed,
just before the start-finish line.
And they managed to get their car ready. All the team members moving towards the safety zone. Yesterday, the kind of like safety zone in the middle of the track was very popular for some of the cars. But so far, I think they have been quite safe. And these are very tense moments, of course, for the team members from Ghent. Off they go. Steadily, unfortunately, yeah. It seemed like the car just drove straight without really seeing where the track was. Immediately going off track, hitting one of the cones, and the car was brought to a halt. Round of applause from the crowd. They made it quite far, but unfortunately that's a DNF for track drive.
Yeah, unfortunately a very early finish. I was already trying to come up with some puns to use later. Very intelligent drive, very entertaining. Hopefully, maybe we'll still be able to use them tomorrow for, well, later today for the manual autocross and for the endurance run tomorrow afternoon. And speaking of, if these puns are not to your liking and you would like us to say something better about your team, please feel free, and we urge you, of course, to fill in the commentary form. Give us commentators something to talk about, something nice to say about your team, some fun facts, some interesting statistics about your car, about your team, because otherwise we are not responsible for what we say.
Yeah, and I talked with the team of Ghent before, and do you know what kind of tools they use for their project management?
What kind?
Exactly, Mickey, a Gantt chart. We have a new car who's just in. It's Tallinn.
It was unfortunately 2 DNFs for them at the driverless autocross yesterday. But of course, we know from the past years that this is a very capable car and a very capable team. So let's hope that their algorithm is as talented as their drivers are. Team members retreating to the control area.
And so now we are waiting for, I think, a kind of beeping sound. Yes, exactly. It's a first good sign. Ambitious start, quite speedy. Will they manage to get the first corner? Oof, quite wide. How long will they? Ooh, yeah,
Oh no,
stop the car.
Car stalling.
This is unfortunately a DNF for car number 124. Maybe a little bit premature. It did seem to be making a hard left back towards the track. But of course, better to be safe and make sure that the car does not cause any damage to the track or to itself, because of course it still has 2 more events to compete in later on.
Yeah, very unfortunate for them. It seemed like they got going quite well, but then yeah, just run wide in the first left-hander. And team members did not let it go. Sometimes they leave the car searching a little bit in the infield, trying to get back to the track with a very low success rate. But in this case, they just called it a day and made some space for our next car. Is that the one from Leiria?
Yes, it is.
I think this might be our first competitor that actually did set a time yesterday. Was this the 4-minute run?
Yes, I think the team is very fond of the number 24 because they did the autonomous autocross yesterday in 240 seconds. So just tacking on an extra 0 on the end there.
Yeah, so we are keeping our fingers crossed that they will go a little bit quicker. We do think that there is a total time limit on the track drive. We actually looked it up yesterday in the rules, but we couldn't quite find it. So we are informing now with some of the officials or even timekeeping to inform you about that. Of course, let's hope we do not need it. As meanwhile, the car from Leiria is preparing itself. I see a red flashing light from the T-cell. That's a good sign. The safety officer of the team making its way to the safety zone. And then silence hits on the track as we all wait anxiously how the car from Leiria will fare on this track drive. Off they go. And immediately on the starting line, they come to a halt. Something goes wrong with the autonomous system, it seems. I'm not even sure if they actually cross the timing line, maybe just for about 10 centimeters, but yeah, clearly something went wrong. That's unfortunate for them, and yeah, in track drive you only have one attempt. Not too bad.
Indeed, unfortunate for car number 24. And I just did just check with the timing officials, Matti, and it appears that there is no official time limit that a team must complete their track drive in. But if for 2 consecutive laps they show a average speed of lower than 8 meters per second, then the officials may decide to disqualify the team.
8 meters per second. How long? How slow would that be in terms of lap time? Is it too early in the morning to already do these kind of calculations? Let's make a guess. I think it would be about 200 or 300 meters, the track. So let's say if we take 240, it's an easy number, then that's 40 seconds. No, that's very quick. 400? Yeah, 8 meters per second is relatively quick. That is like about 30 kilometers per hour-ish. So that's actually pretty fast already.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is no specific distance specified within the rules, only a range of between 200 and 500 meters. So that's also quite a range on the possible lap times that we can see. But again, it is only at the discretion of the judges whether a car is going too slow. The 8 meters per second is just a guideline. And I think if there's no big time pressure and enough time for all of the teams to have their one attempt, then the judges are going to be a little bit more lenient.
Erlangen, meanwhile, while we have this little rules discussion and doing some bad math, Erlangen is ready to do their track drive. It's car 149.
And actually, Matthias, they did set a lap time yesterday on the autocross, which was 107 seconds.
It's doing a little show run to start with, immediately completely going right and doing almost a donut. And I think they stopped the car. That is so weird to see. It always feels to me that if the car completely lost sight of where the track is, it just either does a full left or a full right. That's a shame for them. And then again, we are left wondering what exactly goes wrong. Certainly in this case where they did set an autocross lap time, seemingly the car is capable of navigating through. So then my guess would be that it's really in the setup, the initial calibration, initial setup, that the car did not quite got the right settings, or maybe they choose a bit more aggressive settings for the track drive, could also be. We are only left speculating. The only thing we know for sure is that this is a DNF, and unfortunately this is track drive for them.
And now we have car number 172 from Dortmund taking their place.
Yeah, and I really like this livery from Dortmund. The very sharp green, differentiating colors on the nose. Also on the, what is it? The part between the main hoop and the rear wing has some speckles of green on there, and then on their rear end plates, these kind of green accents on the kind of gurney flaps.
Yeah,
beautiful car.
Dortmund did car number 172 did a 78-second lap yesterday, which was considerably faster than the previous cars, if they set a time at all. So it should be able to at least, try to do a couple of laps. They managed to do so yesterday, so let's hope they found the right setup for the track drive, and we'll get some laps in, because I think this is like the 10th car, counting from, especially from Leuven. It's still the only car that successfully set a time today and getting points. So far, we haven't seen any successful finishes yet. So let's hope that changes soon.
Yeah, just goes to show how impressive that run from Leuven was, going as the first car even. And I also do think they actually went relatively quickly, a 50-second lap timer, doing more or less overall, which was really not too bad. So
yeah, they were even improving lap by lap. So
yeah, the bar is set high already from the beginning. But what can the team from Dortmund, do anything about that?
Yeah, let's see if they can put it into a Sportmund mode and match the time from Leuven, or maybe even beat it. A tentative start, but staying nicely within the lines.
Yeah, you often see that wiggle of the nose, trying to look for some cones in this case. It has big troubles with navigating to the first two, cutting the track. And yeah, I think if you cut the track like that, then you're really skipping too much, so the car is stopped or stopped by itself.
And it almost seemed like the car just couldn't quite put enough steering angle there, because it was following the general shape of the track, but just straying a little bit too wide. And I think that's what might have thrown off the algorithm.
Indeed, these first S corners, maybe there's another name. We should have a look what the shape resembles of. Maybe we can come up with something. But indeed, yeah, it just went wide. It saw the corner, but it got out of phase with these S corners, as if indeed the steering lock was too little on that.
Unfortunately, indeed, the car couldn't quite make it back, couldn't limp home.
And this is also the second car that actually kind of crosses the track towards the audience in more or less exactly the same spot. So maybe there's something about that. Meanwhile, the other Karlsruhe made its way. We are of course talking about UAS Ulm, which has a very similar livery to the KIT car from Karlsruhe. They also set a time yesterday. Was it a quick one, Mickey?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the lap times from yesterday. So their first run, well, one of their runs at least was DNF, the first one. But the second one was a 66-second lap, 66.67 to be exact. So we're getting to the cars now that actually did well better on autocross. They at least completed the lap and also put in some decent times. So the potential is there. That's something we know.
Yeah, Mickey did a great analysis on the lap times from yesterday. And the cars we just had that did set a lap time in autocross, they did have 2 attempts. And I think it was always the first one that was a DNF and only the second that was successful. In autocross you do have the luxury to run again. Unfortunately in track drive it's a one shot. You only get one opportunity, so if it goes wrong then that is it. Fingers crossed that we can finally get a new benchmark lap time, hopefully by Ulm. Car 44. I think they are getting themselves ready.
I think they might just be waiting for the car from Dortmund to be safely off the track.
Indeed, well spotted.
And we had a bit of a discussion earlier about whether Lausanne will be allowed to try again. I do see them at the front of the queue, so it does seem like they will be able to have their second attempt after they did not start on their first run, as Ulm sets off. Staying a little bit wide, but it is finding its way through the first couple of corners.
Yeah, sometimes a little tap on the brakes every time it sees a new unexpected cone. But indeed, moved through the first S's. Now the sharpest corner of the track, I think. So far, so good. And then past the grandstands here. These little grandstands. Making its way to almost halfway the circuit. Keeping a similar pace, accelerating, braking every time, clipping a few cones, just pushing it aside for the next lap.
Yeah, just giving itself a little bit more room for the second round. Very, very tentative and careful on the back straight, but staying very precisely in the middle of the track.
braking for the corner here, which is off camber and dropping away. But I don't think grip will be an issue for this run. And let's have a look at lap time. So they successfully completed first lap. That is often a good sign.
It's a very wonderful performance so far.
Yeah, it's not the smoothest ride. It's constantly accelerating, braking, accelerating, braking. Every time it passes a few cones. Let's see if so the Ulm car slightly rebuilt this track. And will it cost them?
It feels maybe it's not quite enough rebuilding just yet. It seems very intent on depositing the blue cone
will it
elsewhere.
Find its way back? It's like literally driving just outside of the track, but doing so quite well actually.
Let's see if it can find the right-hander. Yes,
it does.
But still, it wants to stay on the outside of the cones.
Yeah. It looks like they got left and right mix.
I think they're back in again. They made its way back to the...
Oh no! Oh, unfortunate. I think it was heading towards the timekeeping equipment, wasn't it?
Yeah, hard to say. Indeed, they were definitely heading to the timekeeping, but they just in time found its way back to the track. But maybe they got a bit too scared because indeed it was definitely pointing that way. Ah, that's a shame. They completed the first lap so nicely. But then indeed, yeah, they started rebuilding one of the corners over there, and in the second lap just got lost a bit. Quite impressive to see that they could still follow the outside of the track and find its way back.
Yeah, we saw something similar a little bit earlier from the car from Porto, also deciding to take an original line along the outside of the track. Unfortunately, that is a DNF for both Ulm and Porto, but now we see DHBW Stuttgart coming up next.
Yeah, and in terms of lap time from the Ulm car, it was 74, so quite a bit slower than the Leuven car. Just goes to show how quick they actually were. And still our only car so far that successfully completed the track drive. We also had the Eindhoven car right behind the Leuven car actually, that did a few laps. I think it was about 4 laps, but then eventually lost track of the track. In front of us is the beautiful car from DHBW Stuttgart. They also set a time yesterday, so we do have some expectations that they can at least set 1 lap. Hopefully it's a quick one, but the track has proven tricky today. They did make a few changes. I think the overall layout is more or less the same, but some corners got a little bit tighter and with an extra twist, and definitely proving tricky for these cars. Meanwhile, the Stuttgart car is ready. Also, the team members are ready. I think the officials are giving the go sign. I hear a T-cell sound, so it's ready to go. And away they go. A little bit of wheel spin on the fronts. Will it find its way to the first corner? Yes. Clipping a few cones in the S-curve.
Finding a very optimal line through there, almost a straight.
Now through one of the tightest ones, clipping 1 cone on the outside. Of course, these cones that they collect or move, they stay away, which can prove tricky when the car comes again. So far, this is a tricky one. As well as Ulm rebuilding the car, the track a little bit. I mean, shifting some of the blue cones away. And then they pass us here on the straight on a cautious speed, but going quite okay. This is a nice corner off camber, dropping down and heading towards the finish line for the first lap. Wow, and they speed up a lot for the second lap, so they really did some mapping in the first. Oof, collecting a lot of cones though. But this is the first time we see this, like a cautious first lap and then really accelerating a lot.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier this morning, whether that's a strategy for some of the teams to do a cautious first lap and then do a bit more risk and, well, even rearranging the track to your liking. Kind of a strategy, but anyway, it's going a lot faster than the first lap, isn't it?
And it's really not liking certain corners, just taking a straight line straight through the bends, like we see here. Barely any steering input,
but it is quick. It's a 36.3 on their second lap. Can they speed up even more?
I think we'll see some more straight line action here.
Of course, at some point there are no cones anymore, so then they can go even faster and faster. Yeah, they really did some rebuilding. Curious to see if this is the pace they have or if they will keep on improving. And it is 36.4, so almost identical lap time.
Still progressing very successfully despite the track rearrangement. Maybe that was a part of the team's plan, make the track as optimized as possible.
Yeah, I can actually imagine that so all the cones from the S are removed, so basically it's a straight now. I mean, it does cost you a few seconds, but of course in all the next laps you can go through it quicker, so might indeed be a strategy, but I don't think they did this on purpose. 36.3, so again almost identical lap time. Seems like they have found their pace and the way to go about this track drive. I think this is their 5th lap now, so moving quite quickly.
Yeah, and it's actually double as fast as the first lap, because the first lap was a 65 and then they just went to the 36 seconds.
Yeah, clearly they did some mapping in the first round, and somehow I have a feeling that once they created the map, now they're just driving on that map and not really looking out anymore for what's on the track. We could clearly see that in the second lap they were just hitting cones everywhere, and now it's just following the same path over and over again.
Yeah, and it's quite consistent because it's all the lap times from the second lap on are within a couple of tenths of a second, so talk about consistency.
Same lap time again, and I think this is now their 7th lap that they are about to complete, or at least in progress to. And then of course it becomes a challenge for the car to properly count how many laps it has done and coming to a halt at the right point, which always proves to be challenging.
Yeah, another lap in the 36 seconds, 36.3. Yeah, it's very, very good to see how consistent this is. There's only 0.2 of a second between all these laps. And I don't think the manual drivers will be able to replicate something like this, to stay this consistent during an endurance.
Indeed, it is really within 1 or maybe maximum 0.2 of each other. So clearly driven by a computer. And again, 36.4. This is now their 9th lap, so 2 more to go.
And not a lot of drama, not a lot for us to talk about, but of course that is exactly what the team would be hoping for. A clean run, a consistent run.
Yeah, and on to their final lap. We're not going to say too much during this lap because we all know how strong documentary cars can be. So, well, let's just watch and hope. Yeah, so far only one tricky corner left to go. Not navigating that pretty well. Onto the final stretch, over the line, and it's solid blue. Wow, we have another finisher. Well done, DHBW Stuttgart.
Finally, it took us a while until we had a car finishing up.
Yeah, and
congrats
it's
indeed.
quite an impressive time, total time of 392 seconds compared to Leuven, which was a 5:07. It's a lot faster, although of course not counting for all the cones, and I'm not sure whether there were any off courses, but the cones will certainly add to the time. But still, very impressive, very consistent, and very impressive lap time. So the bar has been raised again.
Indeed, consistently lapping about 14 seconds quicker than the Leuven, not taking into account the first lap. Yeah, two completely different approaches. Leuven did all their laps at around 50 seconds, so from the first up until the last. With this car, we clearly saw a slow first lap, doing some reconnaissance on how the track was shaped. And then immediately, the moment they crossed the finish line going into their second lap, the car accelerated, and they were going literally twice as quick on all the rest of their laps.
Yeah, and we had 11 cars DNF just before this one. So Stuttgart broke that attrition rate, and finally another successful car.
Yeah, but if all is well, the car should only get better and better. They are, of course, ranked depending on how their performance on autocross was. So we start with the slower ones and we move up and up to the more quicker ones. But yeah, things are moving quite quickly. And talking about quickly, we have the car from Barcelona in front of us, who are looking to do their track drive. Let's see if they can, well, first finish it, and then what kind of lap times they can do in comparison with DHBW Stuttgart. And also, we see in the cars in the queue, there's always a driver inside. Some of them appear to be sleeping even. I think that's okay. I mean, it's a driverless event, so they don't really need to be awake, the drivers. All right, I think they're slightly rebuilding and checking the track, because Stuttgart did some remodeling. Once all the marshals have cleared the track, then we will see the Barcelona car making its way. I hear some diesel, some beeping sounds, indicating that they are ready. Curious, will they go for an immediate quick lap, or will they do the same approach with first a mapping one and then increasing the speed?
Yeah, oddly enough, Barcelona did a 42.12 yesterday on the autocross on their first try, and it was DNF on the second try. So maybe they upped the settings to ridiculous mode, and maybe something went wrong in the second one. But the first one was actually quite quick in 42 seconds. So again, the potential is increasing, as you said, Matthias, within the next couple of cars. They should get better and better. Well, this is already, I think, the 14th car on track, or 13th? 14th even, yeah.
I do see some team members running back to the car, and it is kind of like stopped or cancelled for a moment. They had to wait just a little bit longer because the track needed to be rebuilt, so I'm just purely speculating, of course, so maybe the officials are a bit lenient about that and understanding. I think the engineer is just doing a quick reset, recycling the power, and it does look like the car is again about ready to go. Car 54 UPC Barcelona now completely ready, and off they go. Yeah, that's quite ambitious start. Definitely not slow. Very cleanly navigating through the first S's. This corner, of course, is quite a bit tighter than yesterday, I think, but no problem at all. This looks promising so far, but it's this corner that has proven tricky for many cars. But not for Barcelona. Really nice drive so far. They didn't even hit a single cone yet. Going quite quickly here in front of us.
Yeah, you can see the ever slight changes in input from the driver, let's say. You could see that on the straight here next to us. First lap completed by the way, very cleanly as well. But you could see the AI or the algorithm making very slight changes, but still it's very quick. So the reaction time is also quite impressive.
Indeed, and it does look like they collected a cone. Oh wow, it's increasing a lot the speed, but they are carrying a blue cone underneath their left side pod. Doesn't seem to bother the driverless car too much, but increasing the speed a lot. That is at 32.4, but I feel like they're now even going quicker through the first section of this third lap. So yeah, similar approach to DHBW Stuttgart. Once it got to know the track, it really sped up a lot.
Yeah, and it's 4 seconds faster than the Stuttgart car just a couple of minutes ago, already on the second lap. Let's see what the third lap is going to be.
It is also very interesting to see how it definitely takes its time to go slowly through the corners and speeding up appropriately on the straights.
Pooh, talking about speeding up, 29.6 on their third lap. So it's increasing speed all the while.
Yeah, I think it managed to drop the blue cone, but then 1 lap later picked it up again. It's now in front of the front wing. Let's hope that doesn't cause them any trouble. They dropped it again. So they're again cone free.
Yeah, the car really settling into its Barca flow.
Oh no. Coming to a very sudden stop.
Indeed.
Commentator curse striking instantly.
Yeah, a bit of a Barcelona.
Oh no, this is so heartbreak. They were going so quickly. And then for no apparent reason.
Other than Yegor saying it's settling into a nice little flow. There
Bounce. Parked it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but very impressive drive from this car. And great job from this team, obviously. So it's really heartbreaking to see this happen.
And it looked like a really, I would say, dynamic algorithm that was really adapting to the situation. Sometimes it was carrying a cone and then it lost a bit of time, but really speeding up still. So I would have expected even quicker lap times further on.
Yeah, it was below the 30 seconds, so 29.6 and the 39.62, 6.3 and the 29.66. So yeah, that was actually quite fast, quite a bit faster than the previous car. So it was impressive.
But unfortunately, if you do not finish, then you do not get any points. Doesn't matter how quick or nice you were driving. So then even if you do it a little bit more slowly but manage to finish, that is always better than going quicker. For the show, of course, we really enjoyed it, but doesn't give them any points. Although I do think that if you complete some laps, that you do get either some points or it does move you up some kind of ranking. Yeah, just to make the difference with people that did less laps. And as we say that, the team from Milano made the car ready already. Car number 90. Team members already moved away. Still one remaining that is putting on, I think, the high voltage and low voltage of the car. Also, they set the time yesterday. Quite a quick time even. So will they be able to go even quicker than Barcelona and hopefully finish all the 10 laps successfully?
Indeed, they set a time of 40.93 on the autocross event yesterday. Wow, one of the faster times that we saw. So the track is clear. The team members and track marshals and officials have all cleared the danger zone, so to speak. And we hear the T-cell sound. And unfortunately, the car stops immediately, moving only a few centimeters.
Yeah, such a shame. And of course, you only get one shot, one opportunity for this track drive. This is heartbreak to see.
Indeed. Unfortunately, it seems the computer said no. No, we jest, of course, but indeed, a very heartbreaking situation for the team. Our hearts go out to them, and of course, every team that did not manage to finish their autonomous track drive. An incredible amount of hard work that goes into developing these vehicles, and already finishing on the autocross yesterday is a fantastic achievement. So every single team that participates in the driverless disciplines here at FSG, even making it here, you know, getting through scrutineering, completing even one of the driverless disciplines, already a fantastic achievement for these student teams.
Yeah, and all these cars that we see here this morning, they actually compete in kind of two different competitions. So you have the regular competition with the acceleration, the skid pad, the autocross and the endurance. And in recent years, also skid pad and acceleration now have a obligatory driverless component. So that's the regular competition. But we also have the Driverless Cup, which is a separate competition where also the points from skid pad and acceleration count, but they also do the autocross and the driverless autocross, I should say, and this track drive. So yeah, all these cars here, they are competing in both competitions.
Yeah, and talking about Deggendorf, 2 successful runs yesterday on the driverless autocross. So very impressively, 35, 39 and a 35-second lap. So again, car with potential.
Yeah, looking forward to also see their approach, taking the time to map it correctly, or immediately going full ham. We've seen various strategies so far. Some successful, some not, but often we keep guessing or a bit confused to why exactly things do not work out. Let's hope that for the teams themselves it is clear what is and what is not working. But the Deggendorf car seems to be ready. 41, car number 41. The team moved its way to the kind of middle section of the track where they can see everything clearly. And are also a bit in the shadow. That makes me a bit jealous now, because the sun is really popping up.
Yeah, out of nowhere, the temperature increased a couple of degrees. There we go with Deggendorf. Smoothly off the line, navigating the first couple of corners, rearranging the track just a little bit.
Yeah, and this S-curve seems to be quite tricky for some, because you need to go left, right, left, and if you just do a little bit too much on one, then you end up being out of phase. It is indeed rebuilding the track quite a bit.
Yeah, car doing a little bit too much all over the track here. There's one cone I see, blue cone stuck under the car. Hopefully that will not cause any trouble. It deposits it now, right at the end of the back straight.
So that should be interesting for the next lap, how it handle it. Maybe it will just pick it up again and carry it a bit more. First lap completed though. yeah, it's quite fast as well. If I take a look at the timing page, it was a 44.1. So yeah, that's already quite quick. Not as quick as we saw Barcelona going on, but still very quick time indeed.
No, indeed. It seems to be going even faster now, unfortunately picking up even more cones.
And now it's off the track.
Yeah, a bit of an off-track excursion there. Let's see if it can keep making this right-hand turn,
This is
finding its way
strange.
back.
Oh,
Oy.
it actually went full send into the barrier.
Into the barrier, just kissed the tire wall there. Hopefully no damage to the car. Matti will go and take a closer look.
Yeah, it did slow down, but then literally the meter before the tire barrier decided to accelerate again. So
I think they're a bit lucky because I think the car hit the barrier with the nose and not with the wing. So there is some damage, but as far as I can see from this side, it's not a huge amount of damage. So let's hope they can repair that in time.
Indeed, correct analysis, Mickey. Just with the tip of their nose hit indeed the tire barrier, which looks quite soft. I see some thumbs up here, and yeah, it doesn't look like any structural damage at least. Maybe a scratch.
Yeah, in terms of lucky kisses, I think this was one of them.
Indeed, just a slight brush on the livery. You can definitely see a sign, but yeah, the tire barrier is definitely doing its work. I see no structural damage. They probably will be checked again by the scrutineers, but I think they were very unlucky, of course, not to finish the track drive, but lucky that there's no permanent damage seemingly on the car.
Yeah, exactly, and they hit it head on with the nose, right? So it wasn't the wing. Would they? Well, if the wing would have touched the barrier, then probably there would be some damage. But now it was the nose, and actually the nose is a very strong part of the car, and there's a crash zone, as we all know. So yeah, well, lucky to be unlucky.
Yes, clouds and silver linings, something along those lines. As we now have car number 197 from Schweinfurt taking the start line. And Mickey, might this have been the car that had a little bit of trouble at the autonomous acceleration event yesterday?
Yeah, I heard that they had some issues with maybe even some damage on the front wing. Was it that car?
No, that was one of the other cars. But I think we did have a couple of cars that spun out of the acceleration quite spectacularly yesterday, and yeah, so we'll just have to see how they will fare. If I look at the times, is it Schweinfurt? Yeah. Then it's they actually had 2 successful runs yesterday on the autocross, which was 37 second on their first attempt and 34.9 on their second attempt. So again, 2 successful runs on the autocross.
Yeah, I think now we're entering the group of cars that did set 2 successful times on the autocross event yesterday. And let's see how well they can do, whether they can even improve a little bit on the track drive now.
Yeah, and I mean, the speed was there for the Deggendorf car for sure, but it really started collecting quite a bit of cones, and then you get less and less and less cones that are actually indicating the track. So at some point it just got lost. They tried to give a bit of opportunity to the car, but a bit too much, and it came to an abrupt halt against the tire barrier. Luckily for them, doesn't seem like they have any permanent damage, so they got away. Meanwhile, Schweinfurt is ready for their track drive. Off they go, quite quickly, into the first corner of the S's. So far, that is clean. Progressing to one of the tightest part of the track, and in front of all the entire crowd. He always stands this first lap. It's probably the most difficult one. But, just like many other teams, the corner seems to be quite tight, and it's collecting a lot of the blue cones.
Yeah, I think it's dragging 2 along with it, tossing a couple of others out of the way. A little bit of a hop over one of the cones in the final corner and depositing another one on the outside of the track, but that is 1 lap down.
And now, of course, the second lap is equally exciting because we are missing some cones at the very essential part of the track. So how will the autonomous system deal with that? Let's find out in a second. This is tricky, but it is managing it, so well done.
Yeah, and there was one blue cone left in that corner, and they decided to take it out because it was just out of place there.
Yeah, and I think it's still dragging one alongside with it in the left side pod. So collecting a little souvenir for the rest of the run.
Well, at least the lap times is quite consistent. First lap 41.6, second lap 41.5.
When it keeps on going just a little bit wider every time in a tight one, but still keeping it on track. So
really using that extra space it carved out for itself.
Car doing a lot of lift and coast going into the corner, so energy will be no issue for them. Will they go even wider now? I'm very curious to see this. But they're still finding their way back, so no problem. There's almost nothing left of the track, but well done.
Well, just in that section, and yeah, it was a bit of a rough start, but the car now settling into a very nice pace. And Mickey, how are the lap times looking?
Yeah, very consistent. 41.6, 41.5, within 1/10. I see 4 laps within 1/10 of a second.
Yeah, pretty impressive that their first lap was already immediately on pace. That's something we do not usually see from these driverless, but also from the human drivers. So very impressive stuff by Schweinfurt. So it will be interesting to see their final time. They are just a little bit slower than DHBW Stuttgart, but of course Stuttgart had a slow first lap. So let's see how that evens out after 10 laps.
Looked a little bit more tentative through that hairpin there.
And I see we are being joined by a nice drone here as well that will give us some spectacular images later on, I think. And just in front of me, the Schweinfurt car on the straight, making its way to this quick right-hander. And on to what I think is their 7th lap now.
Yes, indeed, Matthias, 6th lap completed. Again, very consistent, 41.4. Only 1/10 of a second slower than the previous one.
So will they have a better overall time or not than DHBW Stuttgart? I think it's going to be tight. It's really going to matter how much the first lap of Stuttgart impacted their overall time. And still carrying the blue cone on the left side, as you identified, Igor. Will they take it all the way? That might be a record here.
Well, if Schweinfurt keeps up this pace, then it's going to be around 413 seconds in total. Just to give you a reminder, Stuttgart did a 392 second run. Not counting, of course, all the cones. That's a variable that we don't have here. But yeah, so they need to go a little bit faster to beat the time from Stuttgart. But even if they don't, they will have a very decent time.
Yeah, 2 different strategies approaching this track drive, but very similar end times. Oh, did it drop the cone now?
No, I think that one is still there.
Oh, there's a new one, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's just clipped a couple of new ones, just just to remind us that no cone is safe. And just coming through the tricky section at the back half of the lap again, onto the back straight. And after this corner, it will be one more lap to go.
All right, fingers crossed. They of course need to cover the last lap and then bring it to a halt at the very end.
And it's a fastest lap time for them, a personal best of 41.2.
Looking good, approaching that tricky section. Going, I think, even a little bit wider than before, but making it through well.
Yeah, one more tricky corner to go. Yeah, slowing down a little bit, but no problem. Onto the final straight, over the line. Doesn't stop. And let's hope it's certain. Yeah, solid blue, well done. We have another finisher. Third car that finishes the track drive successfully. University from UAS Schweinfurt. And the total time, let me check what that is in total.
Yeah, very impressive stuff by the Schweinfurt team.
Like I predicted, 414.7 seconds for the total. Again, not counting for any cones and off courses.
Yeah, so that's in total about 22 seconds off from the Stuttgart car. So quite evenly matched. Clearly the bar set by DHBW Stuttgart is still the one to beat. But first you need to finish. Oh, every time it was going to that tight section, I was holding my heart. I always had the feeling it was going wider and wider, but it kept finding its way back. Yeah, they managed well for 10 laps. Congratulations to them.
And it's so interesting that sometimes these cars stop on track without any, reason, let's say, or logical reason for us. And sometimes they rebuild the whole track, depositing cones left and right, different colors all over the place, and then they find their way without any problems. So where's the logic? Yeah, it's very difficult to understand how that all works.
As we now have car number 31 from TU Munich coming up to the starting line. I think we've seen them in the queue for quite some time. They were one of the first teams to make it there, but probably doing some final preparations. And the car should now be ready to run.
Yeah, and they did 2 runs yesterday on the autocross. The second one is a DNF, but the first one was at 30.89. So we're getting closer and closer to the fastest times. This was already quite a good lap from Munich.
Yeah, I think yesterday I saw their second run. I think clearly they spiced up the aggressiveness factor because it was going quite wild through the first S's, a bit too wild, at least on their second run. So let's hope that for track drive they dialed it down again to whatever settings they had on the first autocross run. And yeah, will they be able to match the speed from both Stuttgart and Schweinfurt and also match the consistency of both of those teams, because that's still one of the most important elements here on the track drive. And how many cones will get killed in the process. I think we need to do a little funeral at the end of the event for all the cones that lost their lives here. They have a rough weekend ahead every year because these cars are hungry and have no mercy whatsoever.
I think unfortunately the team from Hungary did not make it to FSG this year. Instead we have car number 31 from Munich setting off very quickly.
Yes, that is quick. Let's hope they can also keep it on track. At least for the first S's, that looked really good. Also the tight corner in front of the audience looked pretty. This one is one of the most trickiest one. So far, so good. No cones hit in the process, I think. The straight is, and as I say, instant combinated curves. Hit one on the straight at the odd place, but they make it well through their first lap. And we have to look at the time because that looks quick.
It's incredible to see how some of these cars can go this quickly. You'd think, you know, not too far from how fast they can go safely while staying within the track, already on their very first run.
Yeah, the first run was already at 32.2, which is quite impressive. Not as fast as the Barcelona car was with a 29.6, but still it's not far away. And in the end, it's consistency is key. Let me check the second lap.
It looked quicker. Certainly here on the straight, it was accelerating big time.
Yeah, they did even clip a couple of extra cones on that second run, I think, trying to optimize the speed a little bit more.
And you can see that because it's a 31.0 for München. Yeah, still a couple of seconds away from the fastest Barcelona time. But then again, if they finish in this kind of pace, then they will have an excellent total time.
He was looking a little bit twitchy there through the difficult section in the back half of the track, hitting a couple of more cones, doing some more rearrangement, but still looking very, very quick.
Yeah, I think the whole idea for consistency is not to go too fast.
Yeah, and it is trying to find new lines, to find some speed. I like to see that. It's quite a dynamic algorithm. But I'm really curious about this lap. To me, it looked a little bit slower.
Well, compared to the previous one, which was a 31.19, this was a 31.13. So it was 600 of a second faster. Yeah, but very consistent. Compared to the fastest lap time, 31.06. It's still very, very consistent. It's incredible.
And this is also a bit of an evolution we see throughout the years, where nowadays they really pick up some speed here on the straight. Something that sometimes lacked in the past, where they were limited by quite a low speed limiter. But these years they really accelerate quite hard and brake very, very hard at the end of the straight. Still hitting some kind of speed limiter though, but
yeah, it does seem to be doing a little bit of a lift and coast at the end of the back straight here. But that is allowing it to stay very consistent, very neat through the lines. I don't think they've hit a single cone since the second lap.
Yeah, and also this lap was the fastest one, 31.06. Just let me give you the last couple of laps: 31.19, 31.13, 31.15, 31.06.
Yeah, super consistent. It does look to me that it's trying stuff, but I think my judgment is wrong, and they're just doing very consistent laps.
31.08. So the previous one 31.06. This one is 31.08, within 200ths of a second.
Yeah, the car definitely settled into a specific line, a specific pace, and now just running down the laps until the 10th lap finish.
How many more laps do they need to go? This is their 9th lap, I think, so 1.5 more to go.
And another fastest lap time, 31.007. So they shaved off about 600ths of a second.
A James Bond lap, as you could say.
Completing lap number 9 and into the final lap for TU Fast.
And again, a fastest time, we were at 30.951. So they keep going faster and faster. It's a final lap, so fingers crossed.
And they broke the 31-second barrier. That's nice to see. But will it come to a halt at the end? I find that always such an exciting and anxious moment. We'll see in a few seconds.
Yeah, it's solid blue, so that means a successful run for Munich. Wow, that was impressive. Just looking at the lap time, in total time, 311.8. So that's a lot faster than the previous cars. But so, again, a new standard from the Munich team.
Yeah, really cool to see they still accelerated across the finish line, not to compromise any lap time, and then only came to a halt actually almost mid-corner of the first left-hander in the S's. But no problem, the car could handle that. And for what we could see, this was a very successful track drive. Congratulations to the team from TU Munich.
And now we have one of the other very quick competitors from the autocross yesterday, car number 63 from Revolve Trondheim. There is no way this car is going to be quicker than Munich, is there?
Well, on the autocross, the difference wasn't that big. Trondheim did, well, first run they had a DNF, but the second run was at 30.69, sorry. So yeah, the potential is there, so I wouldn't be surprised if they were quick as well. So competition is on, guys.
Yeah, and it all revolves around that first lap, how quick they can do this one, create some mapping and then see how they can improve.
Ready to drive sound from the Trondheim car, and they set off. Accelerating quickly.
Yeah, they heard us. I think we challenged them. Can they beat TU fast? This is definitely looking up to that speed standards. Of course, speed is one thing. Can they keep it on track? So far so good, but this is one of the trickier bits. Hitting a few, just maybe one cone, but on the straight they go.
A little bit of a cautious approach into the final corner, or even sliding a bit through there.
Oof, and that's quite quick into the S's, and ooh, no. Yeah, a bit too quick. It just lost traction. Too quick into that corner, forgot to brake a bit, went too wide, and then had no clue where the track was anymore.
That's a real shame for the Trondheim car, because the first lap was the fastest lap of the day, with a 29.569. So that was quite impressive already, but maybe just a little bit too risky.
Yeah, it was going really quick into that first left-hander here. I'm wondering then, where did the calculations go wrong? Maybe because it was the first corner that they took it a bit slower in the first lap and then misjudged in the second.
And far as I could tell, it's just missed the braking point for the first left-hander after start-finish. And of course, that makes sense, because you carry a lot more speed in the second lap as compared to the first lap, when you have a much shorter run to the first turn. So it just misjudged the braking point. It got off course and then just lost the track and lost the track drive.
Yeah, this is of course speculating. If that would be the case, it would be a very human thing, where you know, two different conditions, exactly. And if you then use the same braking point,
yeah, but I even think I'm not sure if I saw it correctly, but I even think it locked up a little bit while braking. But it was very short amount of time. But it went straight through. It didn't even turn. So that usually is the case of either not having any grip on the front, maybe locking up a little bit, and then you're off.
That might indeed well be the case.
But
shame
again,
that after that they couldn't find the track back.
Yeah, exactly. But again, we're speculating, and it was very quick, so it was very difficult to spot. But anyway, it was impressive first run, and another DNF, unfortunately. But we have a couple of more candidates, and they are all fast. So let me check what kind of lap time. This is
Hamburg, car number 78.
There we go. Hamburg did even faster lap time yesterday, 28.75 on their very first try. The second one is a DNF, but the first one was only 3 seconds away from the fastest time of Karlsruhe, so that was quite impressive already. So I'm quite curious about what they can do on the track drive.
Yeah, and I think the autocross track yesterday might have been even a little bit longer than the track drive lap we see today. So maybe we'll even see a little bit of improvement from the Hamburg car. And of course, doing more than one lap, an opportunity for the car also to learn where the limits are and where it can push them as it sets off very neatly through the first S's.
Yeah, again, slightly out of phase with the corners, but no drama. Carrying a few cones with them on the straight. Taking the very tight one with no problem at all. Interesting approach here on the straight. Braking.
Stell die jetzt mal.
But this could well be quite a quick track drive again. In contrast to the Revolve car, they do manage to get the corner, braking in time.
Yeah, and the first lap 29.7, so only 2/10 away from the fastest lap of the day, and that was just the first lap, right? So it wasn't even the learned and the mapped lap. I think this straight here was a bit faster than previous one.
Yeah, much more aggressive approach.
Do expect a little bit of a faster lap time this time around.
Wie zufrieden bist du mit
Yeah,
der
I think
Einstellung?
just in general this car is quick in every corner. I think TU Fast had some really quick straights and some really quick corners, but also some slow ones. But this Hamburg car is quick everywhere.
Yeah, and that sums it up. It's 26.9, already 3 seconds faster than the fastest car of Trondheim.
Okay.
Well, they only put one in, so that's the third lap is at 26.9, very short,
Bei der 1 oder
very
bei
close to
der...
the fastest lap. So if they can manage to continue this, then it should be quite an impressive total time.
Yeah, nice to go so quick here in front of us, braking for this last right-hander, which is still quite quick.
I think you can see, especially in the corners, the car is rotating so well, especially in that hairpin there.
Yeah, and another fastest lap time with a 24.649. So a very impressive performance so far. Fingers crossed they can go on to the end like this.
Very, very smooth with both the throttle input and the steering input. We saw some twitchy cars in the first couple of runners here at the track drive, but so far an extremely smooth and impressive run from Hamburg.
Even sliding its way now through that tight corner just in front of the grandstand. Amazing to see that the driverless cars are now starting to slide even a bit more.
Ihres und so, ist das besser?
Yeah, and super smooth, as you mentioned, indeed.
Igor.
No weird corrections, no abrupt inputs. The car seems to know what he or she is doing. Not sure what the gender is of a car.
You guys, you know that. It's IT. Come on. So actually here another fastest lap time, 26.3. That's I'm still amazed it can continue faster and faster. So there is some. It looks like they have set the algorithm to learn the track and go a little bit faster. Not much every lap, but still a little bit faster every lap.
Yeah, I think this car is also going fast enough to maybe heat up the tires a little bit. Maybe that is helping to get just that little bit of a 10th or a 100th of a second in every subsequent lap.
Yeah, but Mickey, now pay attention to that one corner over there. You will love it. Look at how nicely the car rotates in here. Oh,
yeah, that's like on rails. Maybe some torque vectoring involved. Yeah, really nice. Another fastest lap, by the way, the previous one, 26.1. So getting faster.
Yeah, it looked even faster through that back corner section now, so I think it will be even faster now.
Going into the final lap already, another fastest lap, 26.0. Will they break the 26-second barrier on the very final lap? Let's hope and pray.
Difficult because they also need to get to a stop, of course. So
yeah,
might
definitely.
cost them some time as well. Oh, that's quick.
Let's see if the car slows down before the finish line. It does not, saving the braking for afterwards, and it is a successful finish for Hamburg. Congratulations.
Yeah, solid blue line is always a big cheer from the team. Very impressive drive and very quick. And wow, look at the total time. 267.6 seconds. This is really, really fast.
And did they get the best lap time at the end?
Yep, they did as well. 25.9, so even broke the 26-second barrier. Wow, that was really impressive. Well done, Hamburg.
Yeah, similar approach to the TU Fast, going quickly over the finish line and only afterwards coming to a stop. Already a bit in the first corner, so this is a very challenging circuit, even coming to a halt. But no drama whatsoever, a super smooth ride by the Hamburg car. They can be very happy.
And let's see if our next contestant, car number 59 from Dresden, will match their performance. Mickey, were they faster on the autocross yesterday or about the same as Hamburg?
Yeah, the differences aren't big. Dresden did on their second attempt, first one was a DNF, second attempt they did a 25.55 on the autocross. So very comparable to the Hamburg team, only 0.2 of a second difference. So this should be very interesting. It's really nice to have the close competition between these cars and matching them head to head. It should be quite interesting and exciting. So looking forward to this one as well.
Indeed, the level is only increasing. And so is our enthusiasm about how quick these cars are going through these corners. I really like this straight just in front of us. We can have a close look on just how quick they go. Yesterday I saw some cars braking really hard for this last corner here. So far the cars have been relatively smooth through it, but I wonder if these faster cars now at the end can push it even further.
Ja, da steht wahrscheinlich irgendeiner mit einer Funke zu nah am Abhörmikro. Jeder, der von uns Funke wo ihr steht, guckt mal, wenn wir aus dem Mikro und die auf jeden Fall die Funke halten.
And just a reminder for everybody, as the sun is coming out and as the Dresden car is getting ready to run, make sure to stay in the shade when you can, drink plenty of water, apply plenty of sunscreen. I'm telling you from personal experience, it's very important as the Dresden car sets off. A little bit jerky in the beginning, but now trying to settle into a pace, making it through the first couple of corners very well, not hitting any cones.
Yeah, jerky doesn't necessarily have to be bad. It can also be a very quick strategy. But as we have seen with other cars before, they sometimes tend to first make a little map of the track. So let's see if this car can speed up and maybe also make the driving a little bit smoother. It's doing some weird slalom here now, just on the second lap, but manages to find its way back again. So that was a little odd. I was holding my heart.
Yeah, maybe you thought the left-hander is going to be a little bit sooner than it actually was, but finding its way back to the track nicely and going even quicker now, I should say.
Definitely. So Now I'm very curious what it will do on the third lap, just after the finish line.
Massive burst of acceleration there on the back straight. Again, that little dink to the left, but correcting itself and continuing with lap number 3.
Yeah, I think the audience have a hard time to actually see this. It's just right behind this obviously the safety zone in the middle, but it's doing as if there is a slalom on the track, while it's actually just a straight.
Well, he did it twice in a row now, right? So it has been pre-programmed almost. Let's see if he will do it again. Yeah, there he goes again. Yeah, just adds another slalom to the track. I think it said this track is too easy for me. I'm going to add a little bit of a slalom just after the start-finish line.
And how are their lap times looking with those little deviations, Mickey?
Yeah, of course this cost them some time. But it's still a very respectable 30.2. Obviously not as fast as a Hamburg, but still going strong, even with the slalom added. And it's very consistently doing the slalom. That's like 4th in a row.
Yeah,
so,
it's for some reason it's just going around that first blue cone after the start line, and then coming back onto the track and continuing.
That is so weird because there are so many blue cones on there. Why that one?
Yeah, maybe again it's slightly distracted by that middle tire castle that they have there. But yeah, very carefully driving around that one blue cone. Something odd with that.
Yeah, there it goes again. At least, if anything, it's very consistent. I'm not sure whether that's going to hurt their time as an off course all the time, or how that will be added. But it's actually quite, still very consistent. And how they do it, I don't know. But even improving the lap time to a 29.9. So the last one was their fastest one as well.
It will also be interesting to see how they will come to a halt after the finish, because this little slalom is right after.
Yeah, I'm not sure in the rules whether the car has to stop. I know it has to stop within 30 meters of the finish line. I'm not sure whether that has to be with at least one wheel on track or just at any point.
Yeah, that might be an issue. Now, according to the car, he or she thinks, it's probably a she because it's Zoe, thinks it's on the track. But again, going through. I really hope some people on the live stream can see it, because it is, in a way, a bit funny how consistently it goes around that one blue corner.
And how are their lap times looking, Mickey? I think they should be nearing completion right now.
Yeah, again, the fastest lap time. This was their 7th completed lap, so they're on their 8th lap. If my timing is correct, yeah, I think so. So this is their 8th lap completed. Again, the slalom is very punctual. Not the fastest lap time, but very close, 29.7. So the last couple of lap times were within a couple of hundreds of seconds. So it's very consistent in lap time, including that extra slalom.
Yeah, it seems to be going just a little bit slower now. Again, a little bit of jerky action on the throttle and not quite as quick on the back straight, but still staying very nicely on track. Just as I said, it clips a couple more cones on the inside of the last corner. But again, after the slalom finding its way back for its final lap.
And indeed, it was their fastest lap time so far, so there's no slowing down, 29.6. But this should be very, very interesting. Final lap, there are some more cones in the way now, so let's keep our fingers crossed that the car will be able to manage them, because it is coming to the final straight. Will it stop on time? It is. It has.
Yeah, it just found its way onto the track.
Yeah. And I think it's touching at least one wheel is touching the track. So I would say that's a valid run. Total time 304.996. So very good. Total time is, I think it's the 2nd behind Hamburg, even with the added slalom.
Yeah, I think that should be an award for adding the slalom on the track drive. Well, there is none. Fastest slalom on the track drive, for sure.
So fantastic run from Dresden, and then car number 7 from Lisbon taking their place on the starting line.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at my fellow commentary teammates. Matthias is like, what? How? Why? I want to understand, but I don't. It's so frustrating. Why does the car add a slalom to a course like that? It has a mind of its own.
Yeah, I can imagine if we are already frustrated by that. Imagine the team on their own car, indeed wondering why is not working as we have programmed it to be. Yeah, I really failed to see what component of the track makes it confusing. It definitely saw the cone because it was going around it very, very carefully. So yeah, we are left puzzled. Maybe there's like a little pit there for the water drainage. Maybe that got confused by that. Who knows?
Well, let's hope we see an equally entertaining run from car number 7 from Lisbon, just doing some of their final checks. We did already see 2 cars from Portugal, the other 2, Leiria and Porto. Unfortunately, neither of them were able to finish their track drive. Let's see if Lisbon can bring one finish home for Portugal.
Yeah, and Lisbon did on their first autocross drive, they did a 47.9, but the second one, I think they upped the volume or the speed to ridiculous mode, was at 27.5. So there was a more 20-second difference between the first and the second run, but the second run was blistering fast.
Wow, that is a huge difference. To me, that kind of indicates, gives me a good indication, because to me that shows that the team has parameters to play with. So they're a little bit in control to how they want their car to behave. Let's hope they found the right setting now for the track drive.
Yeah, maybe they will do the same between the first lap and the consecutive laps. Because if that's an automatic feature, then it should give us quite a show, I'm pretty sure.
We'll find out in a few seconds. Off they go. A little bit, indeed, it's searching for the track. For a moment I thought it was going to go off immediately, but it seems to be like wiggling the nose a little bit, mapping the track. So this might be a similar approach to what we've seen with DHBW Stuttgart. Rather slow first lap, but then hopefully they can speed up for the rest of the laps. Oof, and this is a tricky corner. This is very sharp to the right, and it kind of found its way back. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I thought it was gone, but just made a turn, found the track again. I'm just curious to see what will happen after the first lap. Will it engage ultra speed mode, or will it stay in this mode? I think we found our answer.
Indeed. And you could see a big cringe from the timekeeping officials there. I think.
Yeah, I'll move away a little bit from the timekeeping van, but because there will be some angry guys coming out, very unsuspected.
And I think the timing equipment managed to land inside the monocoque. So actually, it fell in love with the timekeeping equipment. We have Tom van Leeuwen, one of the timekeepers here. Already getting the second the spare equipment ready. So yeah, this will take a couple of minutes probably to rebuild the track. Hopefully the timing equipment isn't completely destroyed. But knowing these guys from timekeeping is they are prepared for every situation, and already they have the spare on site ready to be installed. But first, Tom will try to look whether he can salvage the previous one.
Yeah, and things were going quite okay. We had a very exciting moment there in the tight part, kind of in front of the Volkswagen VIP lounge. It did seem as if the car had a certain strategy or mode that if it lost track, go left, go right, go left, go right. And with that strategy, they managed to find the track again.
Yeah, and I think we saw that just before start-finish, the car seemed to speed up. I was saying going into ultra speed mode, the car actually did that, and then it went wrong, obviously. And the grandstand can't see it, but I think the car hit the tripod beneath the actual timing equipment. So I think the tripod is well, maybe lost one of his legs. But the box itself seemed to be okay. Of course, we don't know for sure, but it looks like
yeah, because indeed the box itself landed inside
exactly
the car,
yeah,
as you mentioned.
yeah.
So you know, at least they did the effort to catch it, the car. Yeah, too bad. They were looking quite good, and then suddenly, really suddenly, they veered off to the left. I don't think anyone could have avoided that. So. That's just an unfortunate accident.
So as the timekeeping officials are just fixing up the somewhat damaged components of their timekeeping equipment, we have car number 95 from Chalmers lining up for their track drive attempt. And Mickey, I believe they were one of the faster cars at the autocross yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. As we come into the group of cars that were really fast yesterday, only a couple of seconds off the fastest lap times. And Chalmers did on the very first try on the autocross yesterday. They did 27.06. Second one was a DNF. Potentially it was even faster, but the first one was already quite quick, and I think they're well within the top 10 with that time. Let me check if that makes sense. Yeah, because Karlsruhe did a 25.3, and so the 27.06 is actually the fifth fastest time. Yeah, actually the fourth fastest car, because Karlsruhe did 2 of the fastest times. So actually they were fourth fastest with this lap time. So should be very interesting.
Indeed, blue and yellow car, blue and yellow cones. Let's see if that is a happy combination. Hopefully not to see any struggles, and to see Chalmers go just as quick and maybe even quicker than all the teams we've seen so far.
Yeah, we still have the small army or special forces of the timekeepers, just making sure everything works. I think they set up at least the timing equipment, and they will probably go back to their van and check if everything is okay. Also looking at Christian, the head of operations of this event. Well, actually there's no panic or no anxiety, just relaxation all over. If the timing equipment works, we will get a thumbs up probably from the timekeepers here, and we will continue with the track drive event. We still have a couple of cars in the queue waiting, so let's hope we don't lose too much time and get everything going again.
Yeah, well, still just over an hour left on the track drive event. I see 5 cars in the queue and 1 car on track. So with the pace that we've been going so far, I think should be plenty of time for everybody to perform their 1 track drive attempt. So we're just hearing the confirmation that the timekeepers are ready to go. We saw one of them walk through to check the new timing beacon, and unfortunately that timekeeper did get a DNF for only completing 1 lap. But everybody is ready. Officials have been given the take your positions advice, order, command. And now we have car number 95 getting ready, doing their final preparations.
And here we go with Chalmers from Göteborg in Sweden. Well, already sliding around in the first couple of corners. So it's already picking up the pace quite nicely. Even though it's a very first lap, meant to be mapping the track and finding the right mode. But yeah, very impressive already. So far clean, coming up to the first lap completed very nicely.
And if anything, they seem to slow down a little bit on their second lap, at least in the first couple of corners. Not sure about the rest of the track. Let's see how they do time-wise.
Yeah, it's a 28.59, so the very first lap is already quite quick. I think it's one of the fastest lap times, the first lap times of all the teams that we've seen so far. So I'm curious to see for the second lap.
It did look a little bit less aggressive in the corners, but is it faster, Mickey?
It is faster. 1 second, more than 1 second faster, 27.39. Less aggressive in the corners, meaning can also mean it knows the track a little bit better, so it can time and choose the ideal line a little bit better as well. So so far very good.
Indeed, I think having a rolling start for the second lap, of course, also helps over the first lap. So how does the third compare to the second?
Even faster. Only only 1/10 of a second, but still faster. 27.29.
A very clean, very impressive run from Chalmers thus far. I don't think there's a single cone hit. Once again, taking it very carefully through that final corner and across the start line.
Just a little bit slower than the previous lap, but it's very marginal. So still very consistent and very quick. And how this car with the lovely blue and yellow livery, I think it just loves the yellow and blue cones as well, right? Reminds it of home, I guess. And still just a little bit slower, only 1/1000th of a second slower than the fastest lap time. So if we talk about consistency, yeah, this is definitely consistent.
Yeah, still accelerating quite aggressively and then slowing down for a gentle final corner. Not accelerating quite as hard before the start-finish line. How does the time compare, Mickey?
Do you want to know it? It's exactly the same as the previous one, so 27.299, even 1/1000th of a second, the same lap time. So yeah, consistent. Oh no, it went 1/1000th of a second slower.
Oh no!
This time, so
it's definitely
it's
losing
slowing
its
down. It's slowing down pretty much.
Losing its edge.
No, this is ridiculous. This is 27.299 in 2 times in a row, and then a 27.30. Wow. And again, 27.0300. This is something. It's yeah, it's a school book of consistency.
Incredible. I think maybe they could get some sort of consistency is key award.
Yeah, I'm starting to think this is a timekeeping error or something, because this previous lap was only 0.02 of a second slower than the previous two. It's unbelievable how this. I thought the previous cars were consistent within 1/10 of a second, but this is we're talking about a couple of thousandths of a second.
Yeah, completely different level of consistency being shown by Chalmers here.
10th lap. Yeah, this is finished.
This was their final lap, and they do finish successfully. A solid blue light. And what was the time?
Yeah, the total time is 274 seconds. Only 7 seconds slower than Hamburg, but we do know that Hamburg had a couple of cones as well. So, and I haven't seen a lot of cones here for Göteborg at all. So very, very impressive drive from Chalmers, and yeah, this consistency is just ridiculous. And of course, we as commentary team, we have the luxury of having a little bit more information about the times. So that's why we can actually tell also the thousandths of a second here on live timing. And yeah, if we look at it, it's it's unbelievable. Yeah, next car up, car number 42 from Prague. Yeah, so they did a very quick time on the autocross yesterday, 25.81, sorry, which was only 5/10 of a second slower than the crazy fast time of KIT. So yeah, this should be very interesting. If they can match the speed with some consistency, then we will have a very good track drive from them. So let's hope they can do well, and we'll just have to be a little bit patient. I think the track is clear. I think the broken timing equipment is being carried away. I think we will go in a couple of seconds.
Hearing the ready to drive sound, it offsets the car from Prague. A little bit twitchy on the start, now settling into a slower pace, finding its way through the first few corners.
Yeah, yesterday on the autocross they were extremely quick, so this kind of indicates to me that they're also going for the slower first lap approach, getting a nice view of what the track looks like, and then hopefully we can see them pushing in the following laps. But I remember them going extremely quick here on the straight yesterday. Still, they carry quite some pace and are about to complete their first lap. Similar pace still as they were doing in the first lap, so so far not a significant speed increase, but it is still quick.
Looks like steady approach, 36.68. We don't know whether they will engage the full speed mode on the second lap or third lap or not at all. We don't know. Maybe they will just go for consistency and finishing track drive to score a maximum amount of points with no risk. We don't know what the strategy is at the moment.
In any case, the car is running very clean, very consistent, not hitting any cones so far.
Yeah, second lap was 3 seconds quicker. Of course, you do have indeed the effect of the rolling start and also a bit more knowledge about the track. Really nice to see here on the straight that the car is actually moving a bit more to the left because the next corner is to the right. So I'm not sure if it's on purpose, but if it is, then that's a really nice detail on their driving lines. Quite quick here on the straight, and then again moving slightly to the left-hand side of the straight to take the fast right-hander here at the very end. They lose a bit of time in the S's here compared to the faster cars we've seen, but definitely a really good run so far by the Prague team. Have some quote about Garmin on their rear. I cannot immediately read it. Maybe it's some reference to their autonomous system navigating over the track. Something I'll have a closer look on later on.
Yeah, the track, the lap time is not looking quite as consistent as Chalmers, but still within the high 33s to mid 33s range. So still setting some very, very competitive times, and of course a very clean run so far. Just about to finish lap number 6 with a time of 33.908, 4 laps to go.
Yeah, and very consistent lap times. They seem to have found their pace. Now it's all about completing it. So they have 4 more laps to go. As I say, 3 more laps because this is their 8th lap now.
Yeah, the checks and balances on that car are working very well to keep it within the lines.
And also a very neat and clean run. I have not seen any cones being hit so far. So that is also very impressive to see. I think only the team from Chalmers that we had just before also managed to keep it all clean. Before that there were some very hungry cars eating a lot of cones, remodeling the track a little bit. But these latter cars are driving extremely clean.
Yeah, so this last lap was 33.3, their fastest personal time. So only 2 more left. So this is their 9th lap, navigating through the final corner of this lap, going onto the straight of the start-finish, going into the final lap. So everybody keep their fingers crossed for CTU Prague. Still very consistent, 33.5. Only 0.2 of a second off their fastest lap time. Yeah, nobody can beat the consistency of Chalmers, obviously, but this is still very impressive to see. And just coming up to the final corner.
Ooh, exciting. This is really make or break now. Coming to a halt. And
it does indeed break.
Yes.
And there's a solid blue light. That is a successful track drive from Prague. Congratulations.
Yeah, and a total time of 338 seconds. Yeah, very good lap time and total time indeed. Very clean as well. So that will probably put them in the top 5 so far as I can see. I think they're maybe even, yeah, top 5 is a pretty safe estimate. So yeah, very, very well done. And probably a decent amount of points in the bag.
Yes, and now from 33 second laps to car number 33. AMZ Zurich rolling up for their track drive attempt. Also one of the faster cars on the autocross yesterday. What was their time, Mickey?
Yeah, so again, a nice little strategy from them because the first lap was only 32.4. I say only, that's already fast, but anyway, 32.4 on the first try, but the second try was 25.7. So there's a 7-second difference between the first and the second try, meaning, Matthias, learning.
Indeed, I think that's also what they are well known for being able to map out the track quite nicely. Let's see if they can do that again, and maybe they can beat the top time that we've seen so far, which is a 25.9, if I recall correctly, by Hamburg. Or did someone beat that? I remember that on one of their final laps they managed to break.
No, you're right. The Hamburg managed to break the 26-second barrier on the final lap. So that was a 25.97. Still, yeah, not beaten by, not even close actually by other teams. As far as I can tell, I think that 27 seconds, yeah, something like that is the closest one. So it will be quite a feat to beat the time from Hamburg. Not only the fastest lap time, but the total overall time as well. So yeah, let's see whether the next car can do that. Zurich.
I think if anyone can.
Yeah, I was
Zurich,
just about to say that, Matthias. Yeah. If anyone can, it's Zurich.
Yeah, extremely curious to see their approach on this track drive. I do expect quite a bit of speed from them. Yeah, we are sitting on the opposite side where the crowd is, and we are just in front of a really nice straight here. So all the cars that pick up some speed, it's really cool to see it from up close. And then of course they need to drop the anchor, brake hard for the last right-hander, which is still quite quick, but it's off camber, so you do lose a little bit of grip there. In the meantime, the Zurich car is being made ready. I should say is ready. I see a solid yellow light. And then they're just probably waiting for approval from the officials to get going. And this will... They started off enthusiastically over the line and then immediately speeding up very cleanly through the first S's. Also driving quite smoothly. Wow, this for a first lap.
Yeah, very tight line through the hairpin there. Keeping a very consistent speed. Rotating nicely through the complex corners of the back half of the track.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a guess that they have like a little bit of a speed limiter on for the first lap. Collecting some cones though.
Yeah, rearranging that final corner quite hard. It is much, much wider than it was before, and there's a couple of cones stuck under the car, at least one. But it is speeding up on its second lap.
Yeah, already the first lap was quite quick. It was a 28.6, so the car rearranged the track a little bit, and it's still doing that. Let's see what happens now, because there is no more track on this side, but still there's no problem for Zurich. Second lap, already, I think that's fast. 26.5, only 5/10 of a second away from the fastest lap time.
Yeah, we saw quite a bit of power sliding, quite a bit of zigzagging in those final couple of corners. Let's see if we get same drama again. Not quite, much more stable, much more consistent. Will it find the final corner? Yes, it will.
Yeah, and they were one of the few cars to actually hit cones here on the final corner. I was a bit worried that in the second lap they would miss it because there are no cones left, but no problem at all. It actually takes a very nice line.
Yeah,
indeed, extremely quick.
And very quick indeed, 25.0. And it's moment I said oh, and then it's
They did a big power slide,
yeah,
and then it came to a halt.
It's a DNF for Zurich, unfortunately.
Yeah, every time they were going there, as Diego mentioned, they did a little power slide, and I think on lap, what is it, 4 or 5 now, it was just a bit too much, and it actually lost the track because the nose was really pointing completely the other way because of that power slide. So some of the cars managed to then still find their way back, or at least try to, but it looks like this car from Zurich did not even attempt to go back.
No, it went faster and faster to a point that it couldn't keep control, right?
Some interference.
Yes, a shame that the Zurich car did not manage to complete. They're going so quick. It was a bit quick and dirty though, because they were definitely collecting some cones. We were expecting them to also have a similar approach to Chalmers in terms of cleanliness, but not quite. Too bad for them. They have a really good track record here, of course, on FSG in terms of driverless events. This year, not their best so far. But we do have the quickest car from yesterday now lined up. It is the car from Karlsruhe, KA Racing, also known as KIT. They had a very quick time yesterday. I think almost, was it half a second quicker than Zurich?
Actually, you're wrong, Matthias. They had 2 very quick times. Actually, so no, actually the very first run was already at 25.84. That's already like, that was the 4th fastest time already on the first try, and the second try was half a second faster, so it was at 25.33.
Yeah, you had me there for a second. I was really thinking, did I really remember that incorrectly?
No, I was just jerking you.
I was just being incomplete, not necessarily wrong. So yeah, really looking forward to the Karlsruhe on the track drive. We've seen so many different approaches from all these cars. Some immediately find their pace, some speed up a lot, some speed up a bit too much. So we don't know what kind of strategy they go for, but we will find out in just a few seconds, because the car is ready and all the team members are making their way to the middle, how should we call it, the tire castle in the middle of the track.
Safety zone, tire castle, protect all humans zone, I don't know. But if anything, this should be spectacular.
I think so too, but I also think that the team members hope it's not too spectacular and that they just can get a decent time in there, because in the end, in order to finish first you need to finish, and it has been proven very tricky so far. Maybe only, I think less than half of the cars we've seen so far managed to do a proper track drive. And away they go. Ambitious start, but they sliding their way to the exit of the S's, oversteering a little bit and collecting some cones.
I think that's on purpose to make that turn just a little bit wider. And actually it managed to do that because the cones are out of the way and that turn is a lot faster now.
Wow, super quick here just in front of us, but no drama in that corner here. Completing their first lap, and let's see how they go now into the S's. A lot cleaner.
There is no S's anymore, Matthias, so yeah, that's quite easy. But the first lap was already pretty quick, 27.79, so yeah, I'm just curious to see whether this one is will be obviously a little bit faster due to the rolling start, but also because there's no more S's left, so it should be quite a bit quicker. And I was right, it's a 25.89. Still about 0.8 of a second off the fastest lap time at Zurich, but still it's very close and probably getting faster and faster.
Indeed, it does seem like they have immediately found their pace and they're just making marginal improvements now. Indeed, Zurich was faster, but that doesn't matter if you don't complete it. So fingers crossed. KA Racing now. This is, I guess, their 4th lap now. And they are going quick, even bottoming out on some parts of the track. And I hope you can all hear the car flying past me right now.
Yeah,
amazing sound.
It was very close previous lap to the fastest one, 25.07. But this one is even faster. Wow. I can just hear it from from the audience as well. 24.46. That's ridiculous.
And they are going clearly for the approach of marginal improvements, and it does seem to work for them. Decreasing the lap time, I should say, but increasing the speed on every lap, and I again hear the crowd.
24.2.
Wow.
I really like the strategy though. Start off a little bit wild, make the S's disappear, make the track a little bit faster for yourself, and then increasing the speed. That's a perfect strategy, Matthias.
Oh, it kissed the cone here, but I think it's just touching its square where it was.
Another
Again,
fastest lap, 24.1.
Yeah, really nice style as well. We've seen some, as Diego would call it, jerky movements from some of the cars, but this one is very smooth and very controlled. As I say that, they clip 2 cones
but now it's out of the way, so it won't be bothered for the next laps.
And actually, it's on the ideal line, right? So because you want to have a wide entry into that corner. So actually, this car is smarter than we think. It makes the track more suited for a faster lap time. So I'm pretty sure that the car will have a wider entry into the final turn. Let's see. Yeah, exactly. Very good.
Definitely, and will it also result in a quicker lap time, Mickey?
Well, the previous one was at 24.0, and this one, because we can't see it. Yeah, I'm telling you, 23.95. So this car is not just driving faster; it makes the track faster.
Yeah, very opinionated driverless algo on this one. Has an opinion of how the track should look like. But all jokes aside, they're going extremely quick and consistent.
Yeah, so this is almost as fast as the previous one, just a little bit slower, 23.98. But this is the final lap already, Matthias. This is coming up to the final turn, navigating through, and then on to the start-finish. Will it stop in time? It stops. Will it be solid blue? It is solid blue. Well done.
Wow. Simply wow.
Simply lovely. So yeah, it's perfect. It's a total time 247 seconds. That will be really tough to beat by any other team.
Yeah, and this was actually the final team that is running in order. So this was also the fastest one we've seen on autocross. So indeed, even more unlikely that anyone else will.
Yeah, definitely. But I just love the strategy, not just picking up speed, but also rearranging the track so it's faster. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, very well done by KA Racing. Brilliant performance, that's for sure. Now we will have a few more cars. So these cars is what we would call they are running out of order. There are various reasons why they can run out of order. I think Lausanne, for example, they did not manage to get their car going and are now allowed back to try it again. That's really nice to see that they are allowed back. Of course, they will get some kind of out of order penalty, which is usually a few seconds or I think usually minutes that will be added to their time. I'm not sure for the track drive how large the penalty is. And then we have a few other cars of which I'm not 100% sure what happened to them. Could also be that they came to the queue too late. Maybe, of course, they had an issue. Maybe they needed to, re-scrutineer something. Can be many reasons why they were not appearing on the slot that was assigned to them, and that's why they are in the out of order queue, I should say.
Yeah,
finding the words.
or maybe just completing all the scrutineering stuff late and just in time for this event, or something broke down earlier and they didn't even attempt an autocross. I think most of the teams that were here earlier had at least an attempt to do the autocross, and these teams maybe weren't able to do so for whatever reason, so maybe that's the idea. But yeah, I mean, it's cool that the organization is allowing them to have a crack at it, and we still have about 30 minutes left in this track drive today. So yeah, why not use that time for these teams?
Yeah, and I really hope we will have enough time for all the cars. I do think half an hour, will that be enough? So in total we have so 1 car on the track now, 4 in the queue, 5 cars in half an hour. Ambitious, but possible.
It all depends on the speed of the car and track, I guess, because if it breaks down very quickly or it doesn't even start, then of course it's only a couple of minutes before the next one can go. But if it actually starts a track drive and let's say it's slow and cautious, then it can take maybe even 10 minutes to finish it, or even longer. I think a couple of years ago we've seen one car doing 20 minutes or something on the track drive. So
approaching the half hour.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
I'm just hearing now on the radio that unfortunately for car number 127 that is another did not start.
Do you have any indication to why that would be?
No. The officials just mentioned that it is a did not start status over the radio. I'm assuming that once again then this does not count as their attempt, and perhaps if they can figure out their issue, if there's enough time in the end, they might still get a try.
Yeah. Not sure
will
if you
see.
can, you know, if there is even an out of order queue, but we'll see. They, yeah, when they were here before, had a similar issue, it seems, where they could not get the car to start. This time it even happened earlier. The team members weren't even at the tire castle yet. But after Lausanne comes Stockholm, and so far the Swedes have done very well on the track drive. So will they be able to match their what is it, Western counterpart from Sweden? Team from Stockholm, 171.
Yeah, proper rivalry between Stockholm and Göteborg.
KTH team members and the officials have made all of their final checks, retreating to the tire castle.
I hear the T-cell, it's going. Slowly but steadily.
Yeah,
Across the starting line.
I think this is definitely below that 8 meters per second speed limit that we were discussing earlier, and it seems the car has heard us. It's speeding up and now again slowing down, and again speeding up.
Yeah, looking for the track it seems, and at some points it does have an idea of where the track is and at others it don't. Definitely speeding up, also clipping a few cones or at least shoving them away, so in a very nice fashion creating their own track, as we have seen with other driverless cars, but they're still on track. Sharp corner here, this is always a tricky one.
And again, this is something we've seen with a few teams. It seems like the car just doesn't allow itself enough steering angle to get through these sharp hairpins. Let's say about half of the track remaining in the beginning, given all the cones that have been taken away and deposited elsewhere. Some still along for the ride, but the car is progressing.
Yeah, and I really hope they will create a kind of an internal model of the track, because as they are rebuilding, it becomes more and more, yeah, a bit too much rebuilding. I think they already collected at least 5 cones. Big round of applause. They made it halfway through the first lap, but then the car came to a halt. I'm not sure if it decided by itself there was enough, or if the team saw that they were collecting too many cones. I think they might need to be able to lift the car a little bit in order to get some of them from underneath. I'll try to have a closer look and see if I can count some of the cones.
Yeah, I think indeed at certain points, if it does seem like the car will not be able to complete the drive safely, even if they are doing it successfully, if there's too much of a risk of damage, a team may elect to stop the run just to make sure that the car is preserved for the manual disciplines later on today and tomorrow. We don't know, of course, whether that is what happened with Stockholm, but there are quite a few cones still being cleared from under the car. Matti, can you give us a count?
Yes, from this side I see 2. It's really hard to get them from underneath the car because they were really trapped. That's 3, that's 5. Is that, potentially 6. 6, that's the count I can get to.
Yeah, I think that's in addition to all the ones they had already deposited elsewhere in the first half of the track. The marshals now walking around making sure all the cones are positioned properly for the run of car number 110 from Augsburg.
And now that I'm standing a bit closer, I can also see what went wrong. There's still actually a blue cone stuck underneath the front wing, so maybe that's a little FYI for team members. Yes, has been hurt. But looks like in this really tight hairpin, now that I see it up close, it's actually really tight. In this tighter hairpin, they actually cut the corner too soon, ending up in a sea of yellow cones, and then probably the car was like, hey, this is all yellow, where's the other part of the track? And stopped their run. And so, which car is now aligned? You mentioned it before, but I forgot to listen, Igor.
110 from Augsburg.
We've seen them before making a lot of runs, also on the driverless kit pad. Personally, I've not seen the driverless acceleration, but I'm sure they were present there as well. So let's see what they can do on this track drive.
All the officials and team members have retreated to the tire castle. I think maybe the officials just waiting for the car from Stockholm to fully clear the dynamic area.
Yeah, they were at the completely opposite side of the track, and of course needing to first remove some cones. But all in all, they managed to clear the track quite quickly, and Augsburg is ready to go.
And unfortunately, the car did not quite feel like going. The blue flashing lights unfortunately indicating that this will be a DNF for car number 110 from Augsburg.
And we were speculating a little bit if a car such as Lausanne would still be able to go again, or at least allowed to. I do see them back in the queue, so hopefully they can try for a third time. I think in their case they did not properly start yet, so it doesn't count as an attempted run. I do feel like the Augsburg one was really ready, and just had a DNF instead of a DNS. Sevilla, did we see them before already?
No, I don't think so. And this is also, I think, the first time we're hearing the iconic loud cheers from the audience and from the Sevilla team members. Let's see if that can inspire the car to complete a successful track drive.
I think next time Sevilla drives, I will move over to the what is it? The grandstand, and maybe one of the guys can actually sing in a microphone. Really nice that they have this theme song, I assume. I'm not actually sure what they are singing.
Yeah, maybe we could get a bit of a team chant or karaoke competition going later on in some of the other dynamic events. But for now, we wait for car number 92 to finish their preparations. Final checks complete.
Off they go across the starting line, making its way to the first corner. That is going well through the S's, which always prove tricky, but very clean so far. Going through the corner where there's actually a very big elevation change, a big bump in there. but no drama whatsoever. Really clean. It's still within the track. And then we're slowly approaching one of the tightest parts of the track. It's a really tricky corner, but before it gets there, it has some difficulties finding its way, but very close to the tire barrier there. Cutting the corner a little bit. Now it's already on the straight, but it seems to have lost. Yeah,
I think this is similar to the autocross yesterday, where the car did a couple of loops before trying to find its way back onto the track. Unfortunately, unable to do so this time, but still very good performance. Congratulations to Sevilla.
And indeed, it was heading right to the tire barrier again. I don't think there was any chance that from that position at least it would find the track again. So good job by the, I call it the safety officer, to stop the car in time to not have any collision. We had only one car so far, I think, with a bit of an iffy moment, kissing the tire barrier. No damage, luckily, but that was a really, a tense moment to see. And we have the car from Mannheim, 6'9", being prepared for their track drive. Looking at the clock, we have 19 minutes left, so it's quite nice to see that everyone seems to be able to have a go. So then we have 20 minutes left, and we also still have Lausanne, who will try for a third time.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be third time's the charm for Lausanne, but for now, car number 6'9" from Mannheim.
And let's enjoy these driverless cars, because I think this is the last appearance they will actually make on FSG25. The track drive is, I think, the last driverless event. Mickey is correctly saying that, of course, these cars will also participate in the manual event. So we are saying goodbye to the driverless drivers. We are saying goodbye to the algorithms for this year at least.
Yeah, and exactly that. This is what makes it. We talked about this yesterday as well. This is what makes it so complicated, right? Because it has to operate by itself, but also accommodate the driver later on. So with minimum changes probably, because you don't want to rebuild your whole car just between events. So yeah, that's actually quite an achievement to have a well-performing car on driverless, but also on a manual events. That's really impressive.
Indeed, and doing that all within less than a year, extremely impressive. Mannheim, I hear a beep, and they are across the starting line. Speeding up just a little bit, going into the first S, slightly wide, collecting some cones, but we've seen that to be a valid strategy, making the S curve a bit quicker. Lost out of sight a little bit, but they're still on track. Oof. Troubles navigating through this tight right-hander, but it finds the track again. And doing a little donut for the crowd. Come on, fingers crossed that it now finds the track. It keeps going in circles, literally. Indeed, they seem to have enabled skid mat mode on this one. Will it now do 2 left? No. Okay, how many laps will they attempt before it finds back the track? With a bit of luck, at some point it will see the straight which is ahead of him. And unfortunately they called it a day. I think they did about 4 or 5 loops. Unfortunately, they could not find it again. I think this is one of the first cars that misses the corner over there. It is a tricky corner. I did expect a lot more cars to have troubles with it. But unfortunately for Mannheim, that is a DNF for their track drive this year.
Unfortunate indeed. Just over 15 minutes left on the clock, and I believe we have our last car for the day approaching. Car number 127 from Lausanne, coming back for their 3rd attempt. Of course, the first two war did not start, which is why they did not count as their track drive attempt. They did not count as a DNF. So let's hope that it will be third time the charm for Lausanne. And possibly, since there are no cars in the queue, maybe the officials will allow them to take a little bit extra time to make sure that the car is set up properly and ready to go.
Indeed, but of course keeping it fair for all the competitors. I wonder, is this now their second out of order start, or their first? Will they get, you know, are you is it like a state, whether you're out of order or not, or can you be multiple times out of order?
Or could it be that two cancel each other out?
I think it's a higher out of order.
And luckily it's timed very well. We just had enough time for all the cars. That's really nice to see. I don't know if it's a coincidence or planned out very well. We have 15 minutes to go, but this is indeed our last car doing their third attempt to get going.
Yeah, this time we do see the orange lights come on. So I believe now if they are unable to start again, it will count as a DNF. But hopefully that will not be the case. We see the officials returning with the rest of the cones that were deposited by the Mannheim car all around the track. Let's see how Lausanne can do.
And they are off and across the starting line, so that's already way better than their previous two attempts. Making their way immediately to the tricky S section. Very clean so far, really staying in the middle of the road, I would say. At this pace we will need our 15 minutes.
Well, it could also be, like we saw with some of the other cars, that is doing a sighting lap of sorts on their first run, and then maybe they will speed up on their second lap.
That is true indeed. But already this must be a relief for the team that finally at least their car got going and they can prove to the world that they are able to do an autonomous drive on an unknown track. So I already want to congratulate them on that. And this is a very tricky corner because it's a super tight left and then a hairpin to the right. Will it try to find its way back to the track? Very slowly creeping, and with a bit of luck it might see that there's a straight ahead of him. Come on. Yeah, ooh, it's returning now. Going back on its own tracks. Very slowly though, so it is definitely searching for something.
And it seems to have gotten just that little bit confused. It seems to be going in the complete opposite direction now. But it is staying nicely within the cones.
Ah, too bad. It's a really tricky corner. You go to the left and then immediately hairpin to the right.
It is unfortunately a DNF for car number 127. I see the track marshals going to the Lausanne Found to pick up some of the deposited cones. And I believe, Monty, that this might be it for the autonomous track drive. We do, of course, still have just over 10 minutes. So maybe that we will still see, in classic FSG fashion, some team making their way frantically over to the staging area. But it looks for now as if this was the final runner of FSG 2025.
In the driverless events, indeed. Yeah, in contrast to the other events, there's a fixed order here. So during endurance and track drive, it's a little less common for teams to enter last minute. But you never know, you never know.
Just to give you a rundown of the, well, seemingly fastest times without any penalties, DQs and cones obviously. We're just looking at the total times. Obviously the fastest one in total times was KIT with the 247 seconds, followed by Hamburg, 267. Chalmers 274, and just mind you, I think Chalmers was pretty clean or even 100% clean, and we know for a fact that KIT and Hamburg had a number of cones, so it might even be quite close or not, or maybe even not that close. Maybe Chalmers is doing well for the first spot. We'll find out tomorrow obviously, or this evening even. And then just some behind them is let's see, Dresden. And just behind them there's Too Fast from Munich with 311. And then we have CTU Prague with 338. 392 seconds for DHBW Stuttgart. 414 for Mainfranc Racing or Schweinfurt. And last but not least, the very first one of the day with a 5:07 seconds for Leuven. Yeah, and there's a whole lot of DNFs. I think it's too much to count. I think, Matthias, you just counted how many cars finished?
Indeed, just counted, there were 9 in total that finished. And to me, it was mostly the Hamburg car that really surprised me with their speed and consistency. And clearly they got the reward for the second best overall time. I had a great morning. I don't know about you guys. I think we can wrap it up. Of course, there's officially 9 more minutes, but we'll wrap up the commentary for now. Grab something to eat, do a little toilet break, and then we will be back at 1:30 for the manual autocross. I think we start with the historics even. They can warm up the track, and after that it's the real competition. Up until 8 o'clock, so it's a long day. So see you at 1:30. Ciao.